Hi Taurus, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your, if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, it's my fan going because it's been a little bit warm in the UK today. As anybody who's from the UK is watching my videos knows, anyone who's not, well, yes, it's been absolutely, it wasn't boiling this morning, it was lovely and rainy and everything had cooled down and now it's getting hot again, boo-hoo. Anyway, never mind about that. This is your reading, Taurus, for the month of August 2016. If you'd like a private reading with me, Taurus, go to www.carolsuniverse.co.uk. It's an interesting reading for you, and I feel that it has a very sort of cautionary tale to tell, mainly because of the advice card, which showed up in the reverse, which is the High Priestess. When she's upright, I know this lady to be someone who is very highly intuitive. She might not say a lot, and that's why the High Priestess is one of the most difficult cards within the tarot to interpret, because she doesn't do a lot. She doesn't. I did a a 3-card reading for how my day would go about a couple of weeks back, and she showed up, and I thought, the High Priestess, okay, this is passive energy. This is me not really. I might be doing stuff, but I'm working with how I feel inside. I'm working with emotions, because she's very emotional as a card. She often can represent Scorpio, I believe, or a Pisces individual. So she's very emotional, she's very water-based. So I knew for that day there'd be something that would be affecting me emotionally, but I wouldn't really be expressing it. I'd sort of be just going with the flow and working through those emotions, because she's a card that involves secrets, the unknown, but also seeking clarity. The dark and the light pillar are working from darkness straight through to light. So she doesn't really express anything. You need a card next to her to show what's coming up, really. But she showed in the reverse. And, sorry, she showed upright for me on that day. And then it showed the 7 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. And I realised that what it meant was I was sitting down and I was watching a TV programme where one of the characters had been stabbed. And the 7 of Swords was, I feel, the character being stabbed, and the 10 of Swords was where the character died. And I feel the High Priestess showed me absorbing all of that energy, because I remember crying at that scene, so really feeling quite emotionally charged by that scene. And I realised the High Priestess showed me on that day watching a scene where somebody died, got stabbed and died, and I was absorbing all of those energies and kind of trying to work out why I felt that way when it was just a TV programme. So to me, the High Priestess in the upright is not just about working with our intuition, but it's literally, you know, I've been this lady as well when I used to work in a workplace last year, and I used to do a daily reading for how my day would go, because I was going through a really tough time there, and I had her show up with the 8 of Wands flying right towards her. And I remember that day I had so much flack, so much shade, so much bullshit happened from people, other people's nasty attacking energies at me, and I would just sit there and ignore it. But inside, I had to just cope. So she's very much a passive individual, upright, and she doesn't really express anything, and she kind of takes everything inward and absorbs everything. She's one of these cards in the tarot where she just absorbs everything. This is why she's classed to me as being a very passive character. You know, you look at her face and it's nondescript, but she knows stuff. This is the thing, she knows what's right and she knows what's wrong. When she's in the reverse, I feel that this is a card about not paying enough attention to your intuition, so that it leads you to probably come to the wrong conclusions. This can be also a card where you are, if this is a person in the reverse, this can be a very secretive and often quite deadly individual. Okay, so this could be someone who gives you the wrong information. This can be somebody who leads you up the garden path. This can be someone who you can't trust their information, or you can't trust what they say to you, okay, because they're filled with hidden secrets. And this can also be a card about a secret coming to light, but something that will be of disappointment to you, and something that you don't want to hear, and something that's not good news coming to you. Okay, so she can mean all sorts of things in the reverse as the High Priestess. And I feel that, you know, it's interesting because we have a Queen of Wands that shows up first. And I don't feel that this is a person, I feel that this is you guys. Even though you're Taurus, you can be any card in the tarot, anyone. You literally can. It just means that it's your energy. We've got the Queen of Wands and she's facing the sun. Now, when I first saw this, because obviously I don't draw the cards now on screen, because it takes too long. I draw them like literally 5 minutes before I come on screen. And I take a look at the cards and I think, well, what's this trying to tell me? And, you know, as a tarot reader, the best tarot readers you can ever find, Taurus, are the readers who read from an intuitive standpoint. There's no point when you do tarot in memorizing. I mean, you have to know what every card means. I know what every single card in the tarot means, all 78 of them. I have a general knowledge of every single card, so I know what every one of them means. But the tarot, the cards are far more than just a meaning, because they've got several meanings. But also what's important is to look at the cards and to mesh it with what you know of the meanings, and then develop your own intuition on what the cards are saying to you. And that's what makes a successful tarot reader, when you can kind of say, okay, you know, I'm getting a really strong intuitive pull that this is telling me this. And this is how I work on Carol's Universe. I let my intuition guide me with the cards, and I just let the pull help me to develop a story. Whether it's right or wrong, it's up to you, because it resonates with you, for some of you, and for some of you it won't. But for the people that it resonates with, we know that it's the right track, and we know that my intuition is on point. You know, the Queen of Wands is a very, very busy lady, but the one thing that I noticed with this lady is that she is very, she's filled with self-confidence. That's the one thing with the Queen of Wands. But she is very showy with her confidence. She's very attractive. People are very attracted to her because she's very sunny, and she's very positive, and she's very out there, and she's very, you know, she's filled with vim and vigour. She's ready to go. She doesn't hide what she can do. She likes everybody to see what she's made of. That's your Queen of Wands energy. Because when wands represent electricity, they represent fire. They represent being energetic, being motivated, being ambitious. And she's a very ambitious queen, is the Queen of Wands. She's also a multitasker, so she's someone who can do many, many things at the one time, all at once. She's like the Queen of Pentacles, except for the Queen of Pentacles generally likes to do one thing at a time. So she's more of a planner, is the Queen of Pentacles. But a planner, Queen of Wands does plan, yes. But she likes to get everything, she's like bum, 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 bum. I like to get everything done quickly so I can go and have my fun, because she's not all about the work. She's a very creative character. So she's not all about the career. You only have to look at her colours. She's yellow. And for me, yellow is the colour of vibrancy, fun, joy, happiness, summertime. You know, she likes to be out there in the thick of it. She's a very sociable character. Very, very sociable character. But I feel for some reason, with this Queen of Wands energy, being your general energy for the month, I feel that you're going to be very busy, probably with your career. But I feel that it will be to the detriment of everything else, in a way, Taurus. Because I feel that for some of you guys, it just felt to me, with the Sun card sitting next door, that it was almost like your hard work, your efforts, your endeavours, your busyness, your vibrancy, your determination to reach the top, to reach a goal, which is what the Queen of Wands can represent a lot of the time as well, because she's a very confident, very determined character, okay? She will stop at nothing to get what she wants. This is the type of lady. I have met many Queens of Wands in my time, and a lot of them, you know, forget about the zodiac sign, the astrological sign that they're affiliated to. She's often seen as an Aries or a Leo, so she's a natural born leader, okay? But she's also very much, she's very determined to get to the top, very determined to get to the top. So she will stop at nothing to achieve glory and to achieve what she wants. She's all about achievements. When you get this Queen of Wands a lot of the time, it can mean that, for example, it's love reading, that a very passionate love romance ensues. It can mean in a career reading that you get some very good news that comes in terms of your career, because the Wands are all about the career. They're very career orientated, which is why when you get the Page of Wands, it means that sometimes you've got good news in relation to a job, that type of thing. But she is so focused on being the best. Of all the queens, she seems to me to encompass the most outwardly, the most outward personality, because the Queen of Swords is quite serious. Okay, she's all about truth and getting to the heart of the matter. She, you know, if I were to look at the way that the Queen's dressed, I would see the Queen of Swords being suited and booted, maybe dressed in blue or black suit. I would see the Queen of Cups, I'm a Queen of Cups, as being a little bit more hippie-ish, okay? I'd see her in greens, perhaps a little bit of yellow, but I'd see her mainly for some reason in green. Queen of Pentacles, I would see her as being in rustic colours, so oranges, reds, even though the wands can often be affiliated with the colour orange. I would see the Queen of Pentacles as being in reds and oranges and very earthy colours, because she does represent earth, so she is very kind of practical, but she's also very homely based at the same time. But the Queen of Wands to me is the most vibrant of all of the queens, because I would see her as being someone who would be in the very short skirt, possibly a little bit of red lipstick if she fancied it, you know, long flowing hair maybe. You know, she's very attractive to the opposite sex as well, and to the same sex. Depends on, you know, whether you like females, males or both, whatever. So I feel that it's determination for you guys, Taurus, in the month of August, that is seeing you with the Sun card getting some very positive results, because the Queen of Wands looks directly over at the Sun, and both cards represent Leo. Queen of Wands can certainly read. A lot of readers see the Queen of Wands as being a Leo. I've always read her as being an Aries. But Aries and Leo aren't that far apart when it comes to being in the forefront and being leaders and being upfront, okay? And having a sense of determination about them. So both cards can be seen as representing Leo. And when you get Leo energy, for me, this is someone who likes to kind of be the centre of attention, okay? They like to be, you know, you get the Sun card, and what is a sun? You know, you get this to represent a person, and this is somebody who likes to stand out. This is somebody who has a lot of people who support them, a lot of people who are behind them, a lot of people who, you know, believe in them. And I feel that with the Queen of Wands energy, it is your intention, I feel, within the month of August, and your self-belief, because the Queen of Wands represents such a positive nature, that it is your sense of confidence and self-belief that leads you to the Sun. So it leads you to being the centre of attention, to standing out. Both cards have yellow on them. They're very bright, very vibrant, very positive, very optimistic colours, and there is a sense of optimism around you. But why is it then when we get such optimistic cards that we have a very negative card as being your advice card? Because it's the High Priestess in the reverse. Now, the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands, to me, don't really tally as people. They're completely opposites. Whilst one person likes to be on show, Taurus, the other person likes to be in the background. And she does. The High Priestess does. Because she is a passive card. She's of a very passive nature. This is why she's seen as somebody, if you get this card, it means sometimes that there is a secret that you don't know. And you need the other cards to show. If you were to do a pyramid reading, for example, and you had the High Priestess, the other cards underneath would probably show you what that secret was that was going to be revealed around this lady here. So she doesn't speak, she doesn't say. So she's a completely different energy as far as I'm concerned to this Queen of Wands. Okay, she's more like if she was going to represent anybody, any of the queens within the tarot, it would be more than likely the Queen of Cups, because they're both very deep and emotional energies. And the Queen of Cups can also put a lid on her emotions. She also doesn't say much at the best of times. She also likes to go inward to try and find out how she's feeling and work with her energies on her own. And that's what the High Priestess. I've been a High Priestess. Okay, I can be very, very, what's the word? I can be very secretive. I can go inward quite a bit. Sometimes I don't speak, sometimes I don't show how I'm truly feeling. I let everything wallow inside. And that's what the High Priestess does. Whereas the Queen of Wands is someone who likes to put everything on show. With the Queen of Wands, it's kind of like, don't worry about it, all right? So she's got an obstacle. She'll overcome that obstacle. And through sheer charm, because she just has. It's not to say that the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups aren't positive people, because they are, but they're not as they like to try and sort through a solution on their own. So they will take the time to sort through something and they won't say anything. Whereas the Queen of Wands is like, okay, sorted that, on to the next. She's very quick, which is what fire energy is. It's very, very quick. Which is why when you get things like the Eight of Wands, it can mean that you get quick messages, lots of things coming to you. Or it can mean something is very speedy. Or something happens very fast. Because the Wands are all to do with energy, focus, intention, growth, building, creativity, things moving at a really fast pace, okay? You get the Queen of Wands after saying the Hanged Man, you know that you're not going to be in that Hanged Man state for very long. You know that you're going to move forward and do something, because that's the Queen of Wands energy. But why is it that we have the Queen of Wands who is looking at some very positive stuff with the Sun card, okay? She has a lot of positive expectations. So why is the advice the High Priestess in the reverse? Well, we know that the Wands can sometimes just... They are very, what's the word, reactionary, or they are very impulsive. So we know that Wands can be very impulsive. And I feel that it's something to do with your impulsive nature that leads you down a wrong path. I'm sorry to say, Taurus in the month of August 2016. I just get that impression because I was trying to work out why is it when we have two energies that are so positive do we have the advice of the High Priestess? Okay, it's either where you are being overly confident. I get a sense of overconfidence with you guys, I'm sorry to say, in the month of August, Taurus, around a situation. Now with this High Priestess, it could be that you're listening to someone who's not giving you the full facts. They're saying something to you and it's making you do something, or it's encouraging you to act in a certain way because you think you're going to get the goodies. But in the end you don't get the goodies because you didn't you didn't take the time, as the High Priestess would do, to listen to your inner core and to truly listen to, you know, sometimes I feel, you know, looking at the Queen of Wands and the Sun card, it's almost blinding me, the colours on those cards, if that makes any sense to you, because they're so bright and everything looks really bright. And I'm not saying that life shouldn't be bright, and I feel that if all of this reading looked amazing, I could say, along with the advice card, I could say, wow, what an incredible month you've got coming up, and you do have an incredible month. But I feel that the High Priestess as your advice card is saying, don't be too overly confident around what people say to you. Don't be, pay attention to advice or news that you might have come in that might lead you to expect something that is not particularly viable or not particularly possible in the month of August 2016, or something that will not happen as quickly as you would like it to. I feel that this is what this High Priestess is in the reverse as the advice is saying, because the High Priestess can be a secretive person, so it can be another individual. It's telling you not to be, if it's external advice that you're getting, if it's external words that you're listening to, if it's external tutelage that you're getting from someone, I feel that the High Priestess in the reverse is almost saying, you know, the information that you receive may not be all that it is. It might need you to kind of just take a step back and say, okay, I'm feeling really good about myself, I'm feeling really certain and really positive that whatever it is that I am doing as the Queen of Wands, it's going to lead to something really amazing with that Sun card. But then there is the potential, Taurus, I feel, for you to almost feel that you are in your own orbit and you are the be-all and end-all, the omega, the, what's the word? The alpha and the omega of a situation here. So, for example, if you were going to go for a new job within your working environment and you've got a support person there, for example, a supervisor or a boss who says, you know, you've got it in the bag. You've definitely got it in the bag. You're the only one that stands out. And you start getting, you know, that kind of feeling of, yeah, I'm the shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm the one that's better than everyone else. This is in the bag. I've got it. You know, it's a slam dunk. I've got it. I feel that the High Priestess in the reverse's advice is saying to you, you know, don't be too trusting of what other people say to you, because it might be that news that comes to you or something that comes to light around information that you have been receiving from others, it might be that it's disappointing, or it might be that, you know, you can't disclaim this card when it's in the reverse. You just can't, because it has a very, I would call it a negative connotation in the reverse that this card has, okay? I just would. I would say that the High Priestess in the reverse has a little bit of a negative connotation to it. And I feel that, you know, if this is you, you are not paying attention to something within you, okay? Because sometimes when the High Priestess shows up in the reverse, it says that you don't pay attention to your own intuition around a situation, okay? You're not paying attention to your core, okay? What you're doing is you're looking completely on the outside, and you're not looking at the inside of a situation, okay? You're disclaiming, you're completely kind of washing over everything that you should be paying attention to. You're not paying enough attention to something, I feel, in the month of August 2016. The first cards to show up are the Hermit and the Ace of Cups. Now, this is what led me to think that for some of you guys, you might be working too hard towards something in the month of August, to the detriment of everything else. Because the Hermit doesn't just mean that we go inward to seek clarification. This can be a student. This can be somebody who's trying to learn something. This can be somebody who's trying to study hard. So it could be that you're studying a certain area, maybe within your working environment. Maybe you're swatting up on exams, or you're swatting up on an interview that you need to go for. But the Ace of Cups, following that Hermit, says that there's something that you're not seeing that's being offered to you. Can you see that? Because when you do tarot, it's always important as an intuitive reader that you look at what the pictures tell you. What does the picture tell you as a reader? That's important. You could learn book after book after book, and I could sit here and say, you're on your own, but you've got love coming in. And that could be the case here, okay? But then why do we have the advice as being the High Priestess in the reverse? Why does it show misinformation? Or why does it show a secret that could disappoint you? Or why does it show that you're not listening to your intuition? For some of you guys, it could be that you might be on this path, or this pattern of saying, I'll never have love come in, okay? And maybe the High Priestess in reverse is saying, you know what, you're discrediting yourself. You're not looking at the bigger picture here. You're completely set in looking at what your outer experience is, rather than knowing that somebody, somewhere, will want to be with you. So maybe the Hermit who's turned his back to the Ace of Cups, this person may have turned their back on love. They may have turned their back on the idea that new love can be offered to them, or new love is coming in. So I could read it that way as an intuitive reader. But I also feel that if I were to read this as a story, there is something about, and even though we know that the Hermit is Virgo energy, yes, doesn't matter, the Hermit can still be you. And this can show someone who is, you know, it doesn't matter to me whether that Hermit is reversed or upright. Usually in reverse, that Hermit could suggest it's self-imposed isolation. But I know the Hermit upright to mean self-imposed isolation. It means to take yourself out of a particular group, or to take yourself out of society, or to take yourself out of a social setting. And I feel for some of you guys, you are kind of sacrificing something in the month of August in order to gain something. Because I see the Ace of Cups being offered to you, but you seem to turn your back on it for some reason. So the Ace of Cups, what is the Ace of Cups? Well, it's all sorts of things. It's the potential for greatness. It's the potential for love. It's the potential for friendship. It's the potential for kindness. It's an offer card, the offer of a fresh new start, the offer of love, love opening up, the expression of love, starting to feel some form of emotion. But it's the seeds, it's the potential of something that opens up. Now we know that the Hermit is Virgo, so it's an earth sign. And you look at this card and it looks very dry. It looks very, very dry. And it is dry because it's all brown. So this person looks like they need a good wash or a good drink. Okay, they look like they need to put down that book, which is the lamp. This hermit can be seen as somebody, look at the staff on his head. He looks like he's beating his head like he's trying to find an answer to something. I do get a sense that there is a sense of self-absorption with you guys in the month of August. Okay, so much to the point that you deny yourself fresh air, or you deny yourself light, or you deny yourself the happiness of friendship, or going out there and doing your thing in the summertime, even though we've got the Queen of Wands facing the sun, and that looks like very positive energy. Of course it does. It looks like you're enjoying the sun. But also, because you're Taurus and you are not an Aries, a Leo or a Sagittarius individual, this has to be an energy about you at the moment. And it has to say to me that it is your determination, maybe your determination to be the best with that Queen of Wands energy, to really overcome, maybe it's your overconfidence in that Sun card, in the idea that you can be the centre of attention, that you can achieve something really positive and amazing in the month of August, that makes you the hermit, that makes you focus even more on this path. And we know that the Ace of Cups is following. Now, when you get water on earth, it softens it. Dry earth, drinks up water because it needs it, because it's dry. It needs it for replenishment. It needs it to grow. It needs it for life. But you turn your back on the drink. You turn your back on the water, the life source that's going to give you the energy. And, if we don't drink enough water, if we don't eat enough food, if we don't get enough sustenance, what happens? Well, we shrivel up and we don't think right. I know that if I don't eat or I don't drink enough water, my mind starts to get all blurry and I start to not, think straight. I know that if I've got, personal readings on, after this reading, I've got so much to do, so many personal readings, and I know that I've got to eat before I do a personal reading, and I've got to make sure that I'm well drenched and well hydrated, or else I can't focus on the cards and I can't see what they're trying to tell me. So it's almost like you need some form of sustenance in order to think straight, and maybe that's why you've got the High Priestess in the reverse, because you're not thinking straight. Maybe somebody's saying something to you, or you're on this path where it's like, yeah, this is going to happen, but maybe you're too in it. And maybe you need to take yourself out of something, Taurus, in the month of August 2016 in order to see the greater scale and the greater picture for what it is. The Ace of Cups, I always feel when I see water facing an earth sign card that it's important, that this has an important message. Because the water is being offered to the hermit, but the hermit turns its back on the water. It's turning its back on the life source, the very thing that could be feeding it and helping it to get those answers and to seek that clarity. It's almost like you feel that you don't need any external help. And I see this again because we've got the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant can represent two things in this reading. It can represent you, because you're Taurus, and the Taurus is a Hierophant energy. When you get the Hierophant, it represents somebody who is born under the astrological sign of Taurus. And I always feel that when I get a major that represents an astrological sign in a reading, then the astrological sign person takes on the traits of that major. Who is the Hierophant? The Hierophant is a teacher. Yes, he teaches. And he's teaching two people. But what is he teaching them? I'm not a fan of the Hierophant. I'm not. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not. Because the Hierophant to me represents someone who stands in their own truth. And they're giving off their own guidance. And yes, the two keys, he only gives part-way guidance because he wants these two people to unlock the keys for themselves, to find the deeper meaning. So he'll only give you as much knowledge as he feels that you need to know. Okay? So for some of you guys, you could be holding something back with that Hierophant, okay? People could be asking questions of you that you aren't willing to give up to them because there's something that you don't want them to know with the cross keys, okay? There is a sense of selfishness when I see this card showing up, the Hierophant, because he only gives as much as he wants to give, and it's usually from his own point of view. The Hierophant, in terms of an establishment, represents a very strong, very restrictive energy. It represents societies, it represents groups, but they have a certain way of seeing things, and often it is a certain viewpoint that does not allow for any type of freedom. Look at these two people, they're sitting and they're kind of dressed the same, they're monks, and they're holding on to every single word that this Hierophant has to say. And he is dressed in such a way that says, I am the be-all and the end-all. My spiritual guidance is the Alpha and the Omega. It is the beginning and the end. There is nothing else that will sustain you, that will give you your correct life path, except for what I say to you. That's why a lot of people don't believe in religion, because it's too restrictive. I believe in religion, I believe in God, and I believe in the church. But I don't go to church. I'm much more spiritual than religious. Spirituality gives you a far more stronger sense of freedom, I feel, rather than religion. Religion can be very, very, very restrictive, okay? So I see the Hierophant as being, even though this would be a card about giving spiritual advice, it can also, because it represents churches, it can also be giving religious advice. And when we give religious advice, it's pertaining to whatever the religious book is. So because this looks like a pope, I think it's called the Pope or the Papus in some decks. He's related to Christianity a lot of the time. I feel that this Hierophant is. And so it's about giving instruction on how to live one's life in a very kind of orderly fashion. Okay, and that's why I see the Hierophant as being very restrictive in terms of the spiritual advice a lot of the time that this person gives off, because it's just their point of view. And the keys that this person unlocks then, it is the keys to the kingdom of the Hierophant. So I'll give you some advice, but then I want you to go and explore more about what I've told you. So in other words, I'm giving you some advice, now you need to go and explore more about what I've told you and follow upon what I've told you. Don't follow upon what you think, follow upon what I've told you. Okay, so it's almost like for some of you guys, you could be holding stuff back from others as this Hierophant. You give them as much as you feel that they should have about what you're doing. Because really what you're doing is you are blocking out, for some reason, others. We've got the Seven of Wands here, and the Seven of Wands means no. I'm not going to give you what you want. No. There is a sense of, I'm not going to call you selfish, Taurus, but when I've seen this Hierophant card stand in for a Taurus individual, a lot of the time, this is their own self-belief system. Okay, so this is their own belief system, their own kind of moral code that they are finding difficult to relinquish, or they are finding difficult to let this guard down. And I feel that for some reason you're finding it difficult to let a guard down, is what I'm trying to say in the month of August 2016. And I feel that it's because you are, for some of you guys, you might simply be on that track where it says, I am looking for some form of glory. If this isn't you, then this is maybe somebody who is giving you information or guiding you. And for some reason, it's putting you in a position where you feel that you don't need anything or anyone else except for this guidance. So again, whether it's you, the Hierophant, or somebody else, I feel that this energy, in a way, is making you be on a one-track mind type of vibe, if that makes any sense to you, whereby you feel, I don't really need anything else. I don't need the sustenance of the Ace of Cups, the friendship of the Ace of Cups, because I am so focused on this one path. And there might be somebody around you, and even though we don't have that Hierophant in the reverse, you know, we've got a Seven of Wands sitting next door to it. Now, sometimes the Hierophant and the Seven of Wands, for me, can mean that you are fighting against an establishment. But I don't have the Seven of Wands and then the Hierophant. I've got the Hierophant and then the Seven of Wands. And the fact that the Hierophant represents a Taurus individual, a Taurus energy, can mean that you stand far too much in your own moral code. And this Hierophant really does think a lot of himself. Look how he's dressed. You know, he's all trussed up. It's like he gives the guidance, but there is a division between you and them, us and them, the Hierophant and them. Look how they're dressed in connection with how he's dressed, in all his regalia. But the other guys are dressed very, very down on the card. So it's almost like I am law and order. You follow me. And if you need to unlock the kingdom, the keys to the kingdom, the keys to the kingdom are within me. So it's the guidance that I give you, you follow up on. That's that. Because we have a certain set of moral code here, and you adhere to it. I can give you more information. You can unlock the keys to more information, but it will be the information that I gave you. I just want you to follow up on what I told you. So in a way, to me, this suggests that you are following up on what you believe in, and therefore you might be resistant to others. This card for me can also represent that maybe you are blocking out others to the detriment of everything else, because you are following up on new projects, maybe within the workplace, maybe within the Hierophant, could be a corporate environment. So maybe you are blocking others out because you've got new projects and you're determined with that Queen of Wands energy to be such a success with the Sun that it makes you stand out. Both cards are Leo energy, Queen of Wands and the Sun. So that means I want to be the centre of attention. Okay? I want to show people how great I am. I like people being attracted to me. I like people thinking how great I am. But you're not connecting, I feel, with this High Priestess in the reverse, with your spirituality, with your inner core. It's all about what's on the surface, what people see, what people think, how people take you, how people see you, how people relate to you. It's not about, well, how do I relate? How do I relate to me? And I feel that in a way with this reading, Taurus, it's almost like, are you relating to who you truly are in the month of August? I know it sounds like a shit reading, but this is what I'm getting from it as an intuitive reader. I just get the sense that you're not sustaining yourself in the right way. You're becoming almost robotic around something in your life here, and you're not following up on what you should be truly on a spiritual level, because I feel that everything might be on the outer level rather than on the inner level. And if the High Priestess represents somebody else, then don't trust this information that you receive in a way. This is what I'm feeling with this card. If this Hierophant is the one that's giving you the guidance, and you're blocking everybody else out because of this guidance, and you're not willing to take the sustenance and the kindness of others because you're so focused on your own path with your Hermit card, your own spiritual or whatever path it is that you're on. This is the card of learning stuff, okay, trying to find answers. So it's the card of being the student as well. If you're following a path this month where it's to the detriment of your own friendships, your own family, your own inner self, then I feel that the cards are saying that you need to kind of have a bit of a wake-up call around that, because if it's someone who you are kind of really in cahoots with, who is helping you or saying that they're helping you, then the information that you receive at the end could be quite disappointing. They might be holding something back from you. They might be saying something to you or saying how positive something is, but it might not be what you think it is at the end. The final four cards see the Ten of Pentacles, and whenever I've seen this card, you know, the Ten of Pentacles, we could say, you know, oh, great wealth is coming to you. But this to me can be great success. But it can also be a great conversation that you have in the workplace, all right? Or in a place where there's lots of money that's made, like a restaurant or a bar. But usually when I've seen this card, it can mean a great conversation that you're having with someone. And look how intertwined these people are. It doesn't have to be a family situation at all. It can just mean that there is a place, for example, a large corporation where there are many people. There's a great conversation. And I feel that you feel really good, like you've really achieved something after that. Really achieved something after that. But look at the next two cards. Because the Nine of Cups means, I'm kind of feeling really good about myself. So maybe this is an interview that you have, okay? And you're feeling really good after that interview. You're feeling quite smug, self-satisfied, like you've done a really good job. Like, you know, yeah, it's in the bag. It's definitely in the bag. I've worked really hard with the Hermit card to the detriment of everybody else with that Ace of Cups. I've stood in my own moral code, my own moral compass, and I've kind of blocked everything out because I'm in pursuit with the Queen of Wands energy of the goal, of the positive goal, of the being, you know, the centre of attention, being in the limelight in the month of August. I'm going to get it. Everybody's told me I'm going to get it. The Hierophants told me I'm going to get it. Okay, I as the Hierophant have studied my own, you know, I've really kept people at bay. I've given them as much information I can do as I can about what I'm up to and what I'm doing, but then I'm kind of saying that's where it stops, because I am so full of who I am. Okay, I'm blocking people out here with this Seven of Wands, and you know, I've gone for my interview with the Ten of Pentacles, and I'm feeling really good about it with that Nine of Cups. But then watch what happens. We've got the Nine of Cups, the Six of Cups, and this is a great card to have, because this says that, you know, this could be a new job offer that comes to you. This could be where you are presented with something. The Six of Cups doesn't have to mean things to do with the past. It can also mean new relationships are forming. Okay, but it's young and it's youthful, okay, and it's not yet 100% developed, because there's a Hanged Man alongside that. Now, whenever you get that Hanged Man, whenever I've seen the Hanged Man, to me, it means that there is a stop on something, or there is suspense, or something is hanging in the balance, or there is a hold up. So you could find that, yes, you have done really well in the month of August, and you're all ready to go and kind of take your place in whatever it is, okay? And, you know, the Six of Cups could say, yes, you've got the thing. But also the Six of Cups can mean, you look at the difference between the Six of Cups and the Sun card, or the Six of Cups and the Nine of Cups, okay? The Six of Cups can mean that, you know, you're presented with something, but you're presented with something as being the underdog or the apprentice. So in a way, when I look at this reading, it's almost like you think something's in the bag, but the Six of Cups says, well, you got something, but not everything. Because you look at the bigger child presenting the bucket of flowers from the older child. Look at that. It takes the flowers. It's about to take the flowers. But it is a younger child. And, you know, if I were to look at this card, I would say that this older child sees the younger child as being younger. He's not on the same level as this kid here. So he presents it to him with a certain cautiousness or a certain sweetness, but he doesn't really see this person as being on the level. So maybe something that you go for, that you've worked hard for, that you've blocked everything out for, that you've really sacrificed everything for in the month of August, doesn't happen the way that you want it to, because the Hanged Man says, well, somebody's hands could be tied, or it could be, well, there's been a little bit of a hold up on this. Six of Cups can be the offer that comes in, but there's a hold up on it with the Hanged Man. So if you've been told that something is in the bag, it might not be 100% in the bag for August. That's all I'm saying on this reading. And I feel that you need to really take care of yourself, number one. If any of this resonates with any of you guys for the month of August, Taurus, I feel that you really need to kind of take care of yourself. I also feel that, yes, have your eye on the prize. Know your own self-worth, which the Queen of Wands does. Both Leo energies here. Know that you are valuable, yes. But also, don't just look at everything on the outer, because this is what the High Priestess in the reverse is telling me, that you're not getting in contact, or you're not connecting with the deep richness of who you are. You know, what you're looking at in August in a way with this reading is everything that is quite surface, that you kind of sacrifice so much, sacrifice friendships, sacrifice family, you know, sacrifice relationships, all for this one goal, because it's the one goal that matters more than anything to you, and that's that. But it could be with the Six of Cups, because I'm looking at something being presented to a younger child. Now, the younger child is not you. This to me would suggest that you are, somebody is presenting, you know, it can be also with the Six of Cups that somebody is dangling a carrot. So they're keeping you on hold, or they're keeping you sweet. I've seen this card show up as somebody who is seducing someone over something. So we've got lots of good talk going on here. It could be the interview with the Ten of Pentacles, but there's definitely a conversation going on here. It looks like it's gone really well, because you're quite satisfied with your performance with that Nine of Cups. Okay, you feel that you've made a real achievement. You feel like it's in the bag. You feel like, yeah, another award on the mantelpiece. Yeah, another achievement made. But look how it goes to that Six of Cups, where now it's kind of like, and you look at this little child here, and they've got gloves on. Why has that child got gloves on? And why is that child reluctant to take the bucket of flowers? Why is the child so cautious on the Six of Cups? Because there's a hanged man around. There's an adjustment that needs to be made. There's something that's been put on hold, or there's something that's simply not quite right. Someone's presenting something to you, or they're trying to keep something at bay or on hold. They're trying to keep you in the loop. But I feel for some of you Taurians in the month of August, all may not be what it seems. And I feel that, make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And yes, work hard for what you want, Taurus, in the month of August. Of course, without a shadow of a doubt. Always think highly of yourself, but not to the detriment of sacrificing yourself and sacrificing your friendships and becoming someone who you are not, which I'm sensing here with this reading. Don't become somebody who you are not in the month of... Keep yourself grounded, okay? And always pay attention. Don't ignore this, the High Priestess in reverse. To be the High Priestess in reverse is to completely kind of skate over the inner core of who you are, your inner being, your ability to look at a situation from the inside, because all it seems here is that you're looking at a situation from the outside. So whether that's with what somebody's telling you, what somebody's doing to you, what you're doing to yourself, what you're saying to yourself, the vibes that you're giving off to others, it just appears to me that you're looking at something from an external point of view rather than an internal. You're ignoring the internal. If this represents an outside agency, someone that you've been conversing with over this particular thing in the month of August 2016, think again, because it might be that they're not telling you everything. And maybe the everything that they're not telling you is revealed in that Six of Cups and the Hanged Man. Because now, with those two cards, it looks uncertain to me. Something looks uncertain with these two cards. Just the way that this Six of Cups is a very childish, very young, very kind of flimsy kind of energy. It's not as strong as this Nine of Cups. There's more certainty with this card than there is with this, I feel. Far more certainty with the Nine of Cups, because the Nine of Cups is the wish card. It says you feel smug, you feel self-satisfied, you feel like you've made a real achievement. Yeah, I've got that in the bag. And then all of a sudden you get the Six of Cups where it's like, what's this? She's got the gloves on, the little kiddies. It's like, what's this? Maybe because she's been told not to take things from strangers, from older people, from strangers. She's been told to be cautious. So it's almost like the card is telling you to be cautious around what somebody's telling you, because it could be that they're trying to seduce you, or trying to, not in a sexual way, but they're trying to kind of dangle a carrot. I get the feeling that you're being dangled a carrot here in the month of August. So therefore the High Priestess could be, well, they're dangling the carrot because they're hiding stuff from you. There's hidden knowledge here. Okay, and when it comes out, it might be a little bit of a disappointment. So it might be told, you might be told, yeah, we're going to make you supervisor. And then it could be, you were really successful in that interview, but we don't really feel that you're actually ready for that position yet. But we do have another position that we do feel. And you know what? It's more of an apprenticeship thing. And you're like, shit. I just feel that the reading is saying, in a way, Taurus, just don't just look at things for what they are, but also look at your own, look at the red flags, look at the warning signs. Don't disregard other people who are trying to be there for you in pursuit of glory, okay? Sustenance for yourself comes first. Don't go hell for leather for glory, or for being the centre of attention, or for reaching those amazing, goals, which is fine. But make sure that what you're being told in the month of August is above board and most of all correct. We're going to get a reading from the angels just to see what they're saying to you. Universe Spirit, what is the message, please, angels, that you have for the zodiac sign of Taurus in the month of August 2016? What is the message, angels, that you have for Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising signs in the month of August 2016? What is the message? What is the message, angels, that you've got for Taurus in the month of August 2016? Show me. There we go. What did I tell you? Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. I'm going to give you a very big close-up of that card. Listen to your intuition. That's the card that came right off the bat. You saw me juggle the cards. You saw me juggling to the card. You saw me juggle the cards. You saw it come off. That's what your angels are telling you, and it's a strong message, Taurus. Listen to your intuition in the month of August. This, in the reverse, is saying you're not listening to something. You're not listening. This is where I got, you're not listening. Somebody's trying to give you something here. We can see that you're not listening, and you're following your own moral compass as the Hierophant. Because you're Taurus, you're the Hierophant. When you get that, for a Taurus, for me, it suggests somebody is set in their ways. Okay, and they're not willing to listen to anyone or anything. There again, you're not willing to listen. It's like it's my way or the highway. Again, the Ace of Cups is following you. Somebody's trying to give you sustenance. They're trying to cool you down. You're not listening. But you'll listen to this. You'll listen to the money or the prestige or whatever it is. And you'll feel really good. But the outcome is it might not be as good as what you imagine it to be, because we've got a Six of Cups there with that Hangman. Just going to see what this reading is saying on listen to your intuition. Your intuition is completely reliable and accurate at this time. Listen to your own inner guidance and you can't go wrong. You can be certain that the messages you're receiving from your angels are real and trustworthy. Have faith in your feelings about the circumstances you're experiencing. Your insights into other people and their true feelings or motives are perfectly accurate. There is no need to question what you know is true. And that's why the High Priestess, as the advice card in the reverse, showed up. If you listen to people who tell you stuff, but the advice of the High Priestess says you're not listening to your intuition. You're not, because it's the glamour and it's what things look like on the surface. That's what you're listening to. Surface stuff is not intuition. Intuition is knowing. And with the High Priestess in reverse, this is not knowing, because it's a secret, it's the unknown. So there are things that are unknown to you, and if you only follow what you see on the surface, that's when you will make a mistake. So let the High Priestess be in the upright. Listen to the intuition. Don't ignore the intuition. This is the ignorance card. It's kind of like, oh, well, it all looks good on the surface, so I think I'll ignore my intuition. Yeah, my intuition's kind of telling me this, but you know what? It actually looks good, so no. You're ignoring it. You're skimming over it in pursuit of whatever it is that you're in pursuit of. Listen to your intuition, and you can't go wrong. That's your reading, Taurus, for the month of August 2016. I would like to say thank you ever so much for joining me on your August 2016 reading. Next up is your life spread reading, so check it out because it's right next door. Speak to you guys soon. Take care.